have everyone grab their seats, we can get started with tonight's activity. All right. First of all, good evening. Oh, come on now, you can do better than that, please. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome to tonight's activity, this public forum. Welcome to Normandy. Welcome to Lucas Crossing. We always like to be in a position where we're able to host people, our guests, our family, our friends, our residents, our students and parents towards a productive end. So again, welcome. On behalf of the Normandy Joint Executive Governing Board, that's always a tongue twister, so bear with me as I say that. Again, we'd like to thank you all for being here. And it is our hope and our desire that you'll get an opportunity to hear about some of the things that we've been doing as a district over many time span, but particularly over the last 7 months after going through a process of hiring, identifying and selecting Dr. Michael Dana Triplett. He gets mad at me when I say his middle name, so that's a term of endearment. But since then, working with our strategic partners and working with our community to identify the right individual for this district. And before I proceed, I'd like to acknowledge particularly two of our strategic partners, 24-1 Housing Municipal Partnership, Dr. Mayor McGee and Mayor Jackson in the room. Beyond Housing, who's another one of our strategic partners. I don't see anyone here, but if you are here, please, yes, thank you. And we do have strategic partners in the public domain. We see the Honorable Rita DESE, who's here. That's one of our. But again, we are here because of the Normandy is where there's an opportunity for tradition to converge or meet innovation. There's a tradition of being a Viking, and that begets a number of different words and themes, but excellence is the most prominent. So that's the tradition of being a Viking, and excellence goes along with being a Viking. But now is the opportunity for innovation. Innovation utilizing educational techniques and many of the, all you practitioners in the room, which you have at your disposal to do something radically and dramatically different for this district to take us to the next level. So tonight we'll touch on a little bit of that, about some of the things that we've been doing in the district with our talent in the district, our administrators, Dr. Triplett, parents, and so forth. But there's one thing in particular that we're very keen on and proud of, if you will, and that is where we're going with our middle school. There was a lot of time, a lot of effort put into getting the data for us to make informed decisions about making that decision. And selfishly, and I won't go too far, I'll get back on track. I always go off script. Dr. Triplett's like, come on, man. But I matriculated through Normandy from first grade all the way through the 8th grade. And at that time, we called it Normandy Junior High. And many of you may remember that. And then we got off, during time, we went off and, there was a need or someone identified or some study said that we didn't need that particular segment of education. But what you'll hear tonight is that segment of education is very, very important to the development of our children, to the development of the future Vikings, and to development of productive matriculation through our school district to go on and do bigger and better things. So, again, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your participation. You're going to hear about some of the exciting and innovative things that we're doing in Normandy, some of the talent that we've acquired to contribute to that innovation that I talked about. And Dr. Triplett is the one throat that we have. Anyway, you know where that goes. But we're very excited and very proud of what Dr. Triplett and his leadership team has been doing. We thank you for being here. We thank you all, and please participate, give us your ideas, because we're on to something big here, and we would not be able to do this without you. And before I go, I will say that I really appreciate the strategic partnership that DESE has afforded us with them, and the participation, because going back to a prior session at DESE, we talked about some innovative ideas and how we can work collaboratively. And we've been doing that. Just last night, we had or this week, we had a training session with our neighboring Riverview School Board, where we're talking about best practices. We're talking about some of the things that we experience on either side, whether it's with community engagement or leadership. So we've followed that guidance and that advice, and that's happening. So Normandy and Riverview are locked arms, working collaboratively, because we experience some of the same challenges, but we have the same opportunity to, and the capacity to translate those challenges and that adversity into opportunity. So, thank you, DESE. Thank you to our strategic partners. Thank you to the parents, students, educators, and my fellow board members who are here tonight. And hopefully this will be productive for you. Thank you. So I'd like to bring up to the stage now Ms. Lisa Soriano. If you will, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. And thanks to each of you who are here this evening in this room, and also who are participating with us via live stream. I am Assistant Commissioner at the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And before we get started, I have just a few things to share, but I'd like to briefly introduce my colleagues from the Office of Quality Schools who are here with us this evening. Mike Whitaker, Maureen Clancy-May, Shanika Williams, Craig Larson, Stuart Smith. And they, along with me, in our work in the Office of Quality Schools, we remind each other every day that our work is all about helping schools support kids and do what's best for kids. So I want to thank them for their efforts. Also, I want to especially recognize one of our members of the Missouri State Board of Education, Ms. Carrie Casey, is here with us this evening to support you all, and as she always does, support our work. So also thank you to Lucas Crossing for hosting this event, for their hospitality, and to the Normandy Schools leadership, and to the community partners who I have seen at every meeting since I have started in this role and became attending. Very important to see you folks and to know the support that you have for this school, the district, and for its students. We have, I think you have an enjoyable evening presentation, really informative, ahead of us this evening. We are also here in part because state law calls for this public hearing, and I need to tell you a little bit about that. Section 162.081 of the revised Missouri statutes requires that the department hold public hearings in districts that are or have previously been unaccredited, as long as that district remains unaccredited or in provisionally accredited status. The statute calls out the purpose for the meeting is to provide an opportunity for community members to come in and talk about the resources that may be useful or even necessary to help the district get back to that fully accredited status. So again, appreciation to all of you who are here to help do that. What's going to happen next is you're going to hear from Dr. Michael Triplett, Normandy Schools Collaborative Superintendent, with some important updates and information, and then there are a couple of activities. We want to give you a little bit of note about capturing your thoughts at this meeting. The meeting is being live streamed and that will be recorded. Also, there's going to be an opportunity for some audience participation, and we think it's a great opportunity for you to share your thoughts in writing. If there's something that you'd like to share with the department or with Normandy Schools that is perhaps outside of the scope of the activity, we have some comment cards that we would love for you to fill out. You can leave those for us and we'll collect them at the end of the evening. Is there a question, sir?
Yes. My name is Robert Henderson. I'm a community I'm a taxpayer locally. I have prepared some remarks, and if I could have 3 to 5 minutes to present them, I don't want to be a downer, but I'd like to share what's in my heart and what I know to be the heart of some teachers, some alumni, and some community members.
Sir, I'm sure we would all like to hear what you have to say. I will leave the timing for that to Dr. Triplett. So with that, again, my thanks, and we're going to move on with the program.
Thank you, Lisa. There will be plenty of opportunity throughout the school year and we are very dedicated to make sure that we get feedback, interaction from our students, our alumni, our parents, and residents. So there will be plenty of opportunity. I will leave it to Dr. Triplett. If we have time, we can do it at the end of this, but we have a lot on this agenda, so we'll try to stay on course. And Lisa, I won't allow you to one-up me. I want to acknowledge my fellow board members who are here tonight because they have been working tirelessly with our administration and locked arms. So with my fellow board members, I see Mr. Holland Hodge is here. Mr. William Humphrey is here. And I don't see any others, but if they are, please, Miss Violet and Miss Pearson. First of all, yes, they were just recently elected, and as a result of the encouragement from DESE, we are now a board of 4 elected members, and we're moving towards a fully elected board membership. So thank you. These are our 2 most recent elected board members, and thank you for your leadership. All right, now, without further ado, I'll bring up Dr. Michael Dana Triplett. Mr. Dr. Triplett.
I'm not even going to entertain that. Good evening. All right. So I want to first say I want to thank everyone in the audience who took time out to come to this, what I believe is a very important information gathering forum. I also want to congratulate our new middle school principal, Mr. John Williams, standing over in the back. Dr. Carissa Morrow, she's assistant principal. And I'm going to see Mr. Dimitri Upchurch. Is he? There you go, so thank you. So at the end of this presentation, these three folk will gather in groups and take you guys for a quick tour of the new middle school. All right, so here we go. So the mission of Normandy Middle School, Normandy Schools Collaborative, is to prepare leaders for college and career and productive citizenship by empowering, but I want to make sure I capture something for you. It was intentional that that phrase, empowering a community of confident learners and valuing the unique contributions of every student, it's essential that I focus on that real quick. And I, for two reasons, I bolded those words. One is that we have to get out of the traditional mode of teaching and learning. We have to make sure that we give our scholars access to opportunities, meaning we have to get out of the way of traditional style learning. So we have to make sure we're creating those opportunities for our students to be successful. We have to give them access to that. The second one is we have to give our students the most amazing educational opportunities or experiences imaginable. And that means I may have to put on my Marzano hat and talk about what we call anticipatory studies. They have to be engaged, they have to enjoy doing what they love doing. Part of the problem with grown folk, right? We're growing our kids up too fast. We're not allowing them to be kids and have fun. Learning can be fun. For me, it was fun. But we have to make sure it's fun for them. They have to appreciate coming to school and want to come to school. And we have to create those opportunities and that space for them to do so. So that really stands out for me when we talk about a strong vision. Now, although I do not have the most current data from our spring assessment, I do have a few data points for us to focus on. Now, I want you all to look at that, where that arrow is pointing. It says 55.6. The score to be unaccredited is 49.9. So that means we're right at the cusp of having that low score. Now, I want to draw your attention to that because it's going to move this year. But I want to make sure I point that out because you need to know currently where we stand. We use an assessment tool called iReady for our benchmark assessment. And iReady, although it's not the state assessment, is a close predictor to how our scholars will perform on the state assessment. That said, our last benchmark assessment, we saw an increase of 17% in PLA of our students who are reading on grade level. It went from 9 to 28%. We saw a decrease in that same test of our students who were reading 2 grades below, 2 grades or more below. So that's success. In math, our students increased from 4 to 21% of scholars performing on grade level. And we decreased from 62 to 41% of our scholars performing 2 or more grade levels below. That is a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment for our students. So I want you guys to give them a hand. Now, walking in the door February 27th, some things that stuck out to me as I my first 30 to 60 days is that I saw, felt, smelled, whatever that was, a disconnecting relationships between campus, the district, the community, the NJGB, and our community partners. The organizational chart and structure command was kind of hazy. Our employee evaluation system was not robust. Accountability system was not robust. Our students were performing, were disproportionately apparently performing in the below basic and basic in both math and ELA. Our AP courses and dual credit enrollment at the high school level was limited. and our district-wide continuous improvement plans and systems were not prevalent. Now, I'm drawing some focus to those points because those are the main things, some of the main things it takes to move our students and for them to have extraordinary academic achievement and really, really, really great educational experiences. So I created 4 goals, 4 really bold goals, if you will. The first one is to develop and ensure effective district reform governance through effective and positive board relationships. So we began the year out, well, when I came here in February, just having some real authentic conversations. I met with each board member one-on-one so that we could get to know each other. I will learn their expectations, they learn my expectations. We started some real strong dialogue. We had our first board retreat. Day before yesterday, or was it yesterday? 18th, days of getting away. With our partner, next door neighbor, Riverview Gardens. It was really informational. I learned a lot. I'm sure the board learned a lot, but it's those kinds of things that puts us on the same page. We have to be a really strong team of 8 in order to make this work. Dr. Spray, where is he? Thank you, sir. So I asked Dr. Spray to make this pop a little bit. I didn't mean to make it fly, but. So our goal too is to increase student achievement for all students while simultaneously closing the gap. Now we are currently evaluating data. I have a tremendous CNI team who's really been faithful around looking at the data, what the data says, and providing professional development around what the data says. We also found that what we didn't have in the past, what we have now, is we didn't have a data and assessment person or a professional development person. So we have that person now. So thank you, brand new person, Mr. Anthony Taylor, can you please? We also didn't have a person to head our social studies and science department, so we put a person who will oversee that department. Dr. Spray, would you raise your hand? So there are a lot of things that we saw that were needed in our curriculum and instruction department. We didn't have Project Lead the Way. We have a grant for our Project Lead the Way. We're increasing our participation on CTE offerings, so we're partnershiping with North Tech. We're partnershiping with St. Louis Community College to offer dual enrollment. So we're doing a lot of things that will give opportunities to our scholars in the high school. We're also created identified teachers who could teach our AP courses, so our AP course offerings have increased. And so we're now identifying those students who could handle that coursework. We've also partnership with Solution Tree. We began our work with Solution Tree a couple of weeks ago. They're providing professional development with us and getting to know our team, and our team getting to know their team. So there are things we're doing around helping our students become academically successful and providing our teachers and our administrators with the best professional development possible so that they can be champion for our scholars. Star Trek. The third, I'm gonna give Mr. Spray, I'm just thinking out loud. The third goal is to improve public trust. That is extremely, extremely important. That's one of the pieces that we have to get back. When it comes to all hands on deck, this piece has to be one of the pieces in the forefront. Open dialogue, trying to regain Normandy's rebrand Normandy, trying to counter the narrative that's out there. And so these partnerships have to take place. So I've been beating, Dr. Petty's been beating, my cabinet's been beating down doors trying to reconnect with those relationships. We've been meeting with the mayors, our partners, other community partners, beyond housing, and those kinds of community partners who will help us get that narrative back out there that this is a partnership worth savaging. So we're really trying to reconnect and make that partnership work. What else are we doing about it? The culture and climate piece. People always say that the climate of the organization or district or school takes the shape of its leader. Now we'll probably have we'll probably have a pretty good climate here because I'm a pretty good person. Right? Love laughing, but I'm about the business. I'm about the business of children. And if you can't be about the business of children, you can't be a part of this Normandy Schools Collaborative team. So it's about making sure we have kids in the forefront of everything we do, and we're making sure we're creating champions who could walk alongside of children and coach them. Not teach them, but coach them. I think they're tired of being taught, they're looking to be coached, and so we have to create those ways to coach them. We have a senior leadership team. Our central office organizational chart is about 95% complete and restructured. We did a lot of work on that, a lot of heavy lifting on that end, because if that piece is not intact and is not correct and the right people are not in the right seat on the right bus, then all else fails. So we're in the process, and we have about 5% more, just these minutes, 5, to make sure we're 100% complete with our campus support. Campus support is our central office, with our campus support to make sure we have people in place to support our schools in an intentional kind of way. I'm increasing organizational effectiveness. We're taking a hard look at revamping the district's strategic plan. Sometime this month, no later than the middle of August, we'll begin reaching out to community partners and other stakeholders to assist in this endeavor, because we have to make a strategic plan that really lives in the community, that really lives in the district, and we continue to talk about it so that it can stay at the forefront of everybody's decision making. I'm not going to read through all of these things, but these are the things we're doing to make sure that we're increasing district organizational effectiveness. And I have a person who when Ron said he has one proposal, I won't say that. I have a person who's the Deputy Superintendent of Organizational Effectiveness that he's leading this effort around what the organization, how effective the organization should be based off of our support systems. Now comes the fun part. So we will have a brief assignment at your desk, and that will be based on 2 questions. So usually, in the past, this is how Normandy operated. So you see the big SpongeBob dude, that's Normandy. And Normandy is doing all of this work by itself, not soliciting help, not asking for help, not taking people's suggestions or recommendations into consideration. And so nothing's getting done. I think that's an absolute awful way to move. So, henceforward, we're asking the community for your help. Because when all of us are together, this is what happens. Everybody has a different skill set, but everybody's at the same table. And you got one person, the little yellow dog, I'm not gonna say it's me, maybe Ron, but somebody's up there taking the notes from the community, because that's where the thought partnership comes in. That's how you create change. So, more than ever, schools and families must work together to provide the best possible learning experiences for every young adolescent. Continuing parental involvement is as important as ever. Normandy Middle School must create a family-friendly environment and take the initiative in foregoing needed home teacher-school bonds. Effective middle schools develop structures that ensure students will be known as individuals who feel cared for and valued. As students come of age, the exploratory responsibility of the middle school is particularly critical as it serves as a catalyst for students to be successful at the high school level. Normandy Middle School deserves opportunities to ascertain their special interests and aptitudes, to engage in activities that will broaden their views of the world and of themselves, and to get them ready to transition to high school. The two essential questions I want you to answer at your table, and we'll take about 5 minutes to answer these, and then we'll do some reporting now before we take our tour of the school, is how do you want the Normandy Middle School at Lucas Crossing to look this year? And the other question is, what resources and supports, expertise, and other factors would make a difference in increasing parental engagement at the Normandy Middle School? We know that at the middle school level is where we lose that parental engagement piece. That number starts decreasing. So we need to know from you, how can we best support that so we can increase that number at the middle school level? I don't have those game show tunes in my phone. I'm just kidding. But let's take about 5 minutes and just kind of brainstorm, and then we'll report out.
Hi, my name is Chris Trahan, and I'm Communications Director for Normandy Schools Collaborative. I know a lot of you came here and didn't know that we were going to put you to work. So if you wouldn't mind, the sheets, the large sheets that are on your table, if you could flip them over. That's the 2 questions that Superintendent has asked you to discuss. If you could write down and report out, have one person from each table report out what your table discussed, and then we'll take notes. Thank you.
We do have.
You have about 2 minutes.
So like a strong character education, right? I get anxiety sometimes. And it's so late. I said, I was trying to take it. So such a not be at a wedding. I love it.
We've got 30 seconds. We can go ahead and wrap up what you're working on, and we'll start reporting out.
What else?
So we'll have 5 minutes so we can really get some good conversations going and wrap it up.
Yeah, so seats empty. I think they are, but I'm gonna put it down there because that's how we get students to stay. Go to the high
All right, we're going to go ahead and start reporting now. Again, if you have not finished your conversation, we've got comment cards. We'll be collecting them at the end of the night. We're going to start off with the table of Normandy School Collaborative Principles. And you can see that they're putting their, if you follow their lead, they're putting everything up on what they discussed up on the wall. And we'll have your report out the same way.
Is it okay to put it right here?
All right. Everybody ready? I'm John Williams, proud principal here at Normandy Middle School. It's a great day to be a junior Viking. Yeah, all right. To answer the first question is, how do you want the Normandy Middle School at Lucas Crossing to look? So one of the things we harped on the most was relevant electives. We want our students to have an exploratory electives that'll help them in the next phase of life. Moving into high school, moving on to college and career. Things like coding, STEAM, STEM, those are exciting classes. Let's be real, students will always come from math, ELA, science, and social studies. We have to trick them to things that they might want to use in their life later on. Academic language conversation, we want them to speak the language. We want them to know what they're expected to do within the classroom. Also, rigor and relevance. Our goal for the 6th grade students that are piloting in our school this year, by the time they get to 8th grade, they're walking out of the middle school with 3 high school credits, Algebra 1, a foreign language, it could be Spanish or French, and physical science. So now they walk into the high school ready for college and career.
Gerald Davis Jr., proud principal of Normandy High School. Big Vikings, big brother, big sister, let's go. And I love the mic. But collaboration, having collaboration with the high school. You know, when we had this professional development with Solution Tree, they were asking the middle school to couple with the high school. But I'll tell you this, we already were doing it. We saw each other, we sat together, we planned together, and in talking with our principal here, we're going to be doing those same things because I believe they should know our expectations and we should know what they're doing. Those students on the middle school level, they are our feeder. We should know what they're doing and they should know where they're going. So, also able to compete in a global society. That's what all of these things are going to do, in short. Restorative justice. I know we're here talking about the good academics, but we have to have discipline. But it doesn't have to be punitive. Thus, restorative justice, non-negotiables. When you set these systems in play, and you stand on them, and you're firm, they're looking for structure. Blame and shame on us if we don't provide. I'm going to skip past this and that's just going to go to effective and meaningful partnerships with the community partners. Guess what? The collaborative is doing that today. Look at us now.
All right. In our collaboration, we also talked about how can we get parents involved in the Normandy Middle School at Lucas Crossing. A welcome environment. We have to have an open door policy for our parents to come in, even if it's their venting. Let them vent, and then we get to what the issue might be. So we are going to have an open door policy for our parents, a welcome environment, and then help them and help their child achieve that level that they need to. Parent forums, that's so important. Listen to that gripe. It's okay. Want them to have their voice within the building. Opportunities for input and decision making, that's so important. Just, they want to be involved. Get them in here. Get them into the college and career forums. Get them in here to eat breakfast with their kids. Do lunch duty. All right?
And lastly, activities to get parents involved in the academic achievement. At the end of the day, when we hold forums such as this, maybe we can seat 500, but if we get 50, we continue to do it and push the envelope, period. Thank you for our time.
All right.
Hello, I'm Patricia Zahn. I'm the Director of Community Engagement and Outreach at UMSL, the neighbor here and community partner. And the table I was at is community partners and representatives from the community. And so what we started with was what we would like the school to look like: safe and academically strong. Teachers understand how to educate our students to be successful. After-school activities that are educational and enjoyable. Students looking forward to learning and are ready to learn. Parent engagement, grandparent and caretaker and family engagement, so thinking about everybody that our children interact with. Resource officers that are trained to work with middle school children. And so then, how do we get those parents involved? Meet them where they are. If we need to go to their homes, we go to their homes. They're the environment that our children are in. Parent groups, reinstitute some parent groups. Get parents involved, give them opportunities to be involved through parent-teacher organization or concessions or other activities that they might be interested in. Resources for our teachers and our students and our parents, incentives for those parents and students to be engaged, positive feedback to our parents, give them a sense of belonging and ownership of this space, and a place where their suggestions are heard, their concerns are heard, and they're reflected back and acknowledged.
Good evening. Tony Brooks, Executive Director for Student Support Services for the district. We came up with, if you look at all of these, everyone's thinking the same thing. So we are staying in the same vein. Safety is critical, especially if you're talking about middle schools. Every parent that you talk to will say that's probably the number one factor in coming to school, safety. Also having active wraparound services where we're not just students are not just going into classes and going home, we're actually focusing on social emotional learning and ensuring that we're educating the whole child. Also, in-school mentoring in real time. When students are getting in trouble, the idea is not for them to automatically be sent home or be put out of the school. The idea is for you to learn from your mistake and be back in class. Kids cannot learn if they're not in class. So the idea is for us to keep students at school and educate them even when they're doing wrong. Welcoming to parents. From the time they ring the doorbell to the time they leave, our parents need to say, you know what, I enjoy being at that school. They welcomed me, they invited me in, and we want our parents to be the beacon in the community saying some of the good things that we're doing here at Normandy Middle. Expansive course offerings, as Mr. Williams said, we don't want to just focus on the typical core classes or the typical electives. We want to take it a step further and ensure that our students at the middle school level are prepared for college versus just high school. And also co-curricular activities where we bridge that gap between what's happening at the middle school and the high school, and again, ensuring that our students are getting what they need prior to making it to the high school level.
I didn't even want Tony to present. I'm just kidding.
This guy has this thing. I don't know what it is. This guy, he has a thing. I don't know what it is.
So the second question that we focused on was how can we get the parents involved in Normandy Middle School? And so the first thing we put on here, and it wasn't just for the middle school, but to get the Parent-Teacher Association involved in every school. To bring them in, they'd be very creative and also set up some things where they could support teachers with some special kind of recognition and do the same thing for students. Open house and orientation. Always, that's a great way to bring parents into the building, let them see the classrooms, meet the teachers, and get to know academically and the extracurricular activities that we have available for students. Curriculum night and core subject night would be a great opportunity to get parents in so students can show what they've learned in class and to also exhibit some projects that they've completed. And then getting groups of parents to adopt a grade level or adopt a couple of classes or a grade level. And then set up some parameters, maybe with the PTA and with the principal in terms of what are some things we want to celebrate the classes and encourage them when we adopt them, to show them support. Community competitions, where same thing kind of like up here, where you bring in groups to compete, kids like to compete, and so set up some things here at school that where parents want to come in and support them in that. And then other things here are the targeted entertainment, bring in some entertainment groups here that the public would really appreciate and students appreciate that might also encourage them in their extracurricular activities. Hey, I see great music program, great dance program. I want to be part of that too at school and have more supports.
So we want to be cognizant of people's times. After we have this reporting out, we do have a tour of the middle school. So we're collecting all this information that everyone has put in at each table. We're going to be taking that back to central office. So we want to go ahead and close out this portion of the forum just on a strong note. So after this, we'll have tours of the high school. Middle school.
So, what our group wanted our Normandy Middle School to look like was middle school to have a mascot which the kids vote, and then bright colors so the kids feel welcomed, and student advisory board so students could give their comments about what they want, and then tech programs and a transition period from elementary school to middle school, so their kids will be ready, and sports, yeah, and then foreign language classes. And then what our group wanted to, how to get parents involved in the middle school is for the students' incentives and acknowledge the students' achievements, calling parents and flyers sent home with the students so the students can give their parents it and the parents will know what is happening. Event/community days and convenient timing, which means that the timing is good so the parents don't have to take off work or skip whatever they're going to, and PTOs.
So, thank you all for that participation. I can assure you that the next time we do this, we're going to strategically mix this crowd up, because you know some of those administrators think they're smart like Tony, think he knows everything.
So our group hasn't gone yet, so we're not done. Our group hasn't gone yet.
I know, give me a second.
Okay.
So we're going to strategically mix the crowd up so we won't have administrators at one table, administration, so we have more community participation. Go ahead, since you, I'm just kidding.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited that we're having a meeting. Okay, so our table, we had a lot of discussion, and we kind of took a step back and instead of looking at things that you do like hands-on right today, we looked at some things that structurally we need to take into consideration. So the very first thing that we all agreed on was that the thing that we want middle school here to look like is the best darn middle school in the city, the area, and the state. That's first and foremost. From a coursework standpoint and elective standpoint, I think some people have said it better than me. We need to make sure we have all the right courses and so forth, but we also need to make sure that we are giving them real-life courses, such as how do you sew a button on, how do you apply for credit, how do you buy a house, buy a car, all those kinds of things, okay? Because I know people don't know how to do those things. So instead of home ec, you being just home ec has evolved and it's human environmental sciences, and we should be teaching that. As far as how do we get there, we have some of the best schools in the entire country in the city of St. Louis, Missouri. And so we should be partnering with those schools, and those schools, a couple of which I'm affiliated with, have said they would be willing to do that. But we should be using them as our guide. So instead of inventing it from scratch, what are some of the things that have been working successfully in those schools, and how can we tailor that so that it works for Normandy? That includes what time we start in the morning. It includes what the school day looks like. I think we get real caught up in everybody's school day is this many minutes here, doing this many minutes there. If they can't read, write, and compute, that many minutes doesn't work, okay? So we need to work on what is right for our kids. We need to address the funding model. It's not equitable, enough said. We need to address research that we know is out there on middle school learning, and we need to implement that. And again, partnerships are key there. You know, where is this expertise? And we have it in St. Louis. When you think about the fact that you've got St. Louis University, Washington University, UMSL, Fontbonne, Lindenwood, all these places are putting out teachers, okay? So we have got a plethora of people that we can help to use their hands and their brains to give us information that we need so we can be the best we can be. We need to build remediation programs for the issues that we have, because they don't just show up in middle school and all of a sudden have issues. Those issues come with them. So we need to understand what those issues are before they get here, so that we can have programming in place when they get here, so that we can address those things that are going to be challenges, including behavior, including interpersonal skills and intrapersonal skills. Because that's also something that oftentimes gets left. They're not getting that at home in some instances because mom and dad are working furiously just trying to make ends meet. So therefore, teachers have to understand that their role has changed, and we do things besides just teach the basics. The other thing is we need to make sure that we're using our community. The Normandy area is very rich and very diverse. There are many doctors, lawyers, and business owners, and everything else all around this community. And as a professional myself, I can honestly say I've never once been asked to do anything for Normandy schools, okay? And so I think we're really missing out because we have a plethora of talent, but the talent doesn't necessarily feel welcome coming here because no one ever asks or inquires or says, how can you help? As far as how do we get parents involved, I heard it many times, and that is we have to make people feel welcome, and we have to understand that everybody didn't have the same educational experiences that perhaps you and I had. I'm a public school kid. I went to school in Rolla, Missouri, so that's a rural experience. I went to school on a military base, so I understand what that looks like. I went to school in Germany, okay? And then my kids went to private school because I've lived in Normandy since 1981. And I was told by the people in Normandy School District that the district could not support my kids, okay? So, I mean, we gotta make the parents feel like this is a good place to bring their kids, okay? I think if we're having meetings, and even such as this one, it's at 5 o'clock. Most working parents can't get here at 5 o'clock. So do we need to have it at a different time? Do we need to provide childcare? Do we need to have pizza for their kids? Are there virtual options so people can listen in while we're doing what we do in the group? We need to educate the teachers and the administrators on how to really build the community with the parents. Because, as I said, some of them didn't have welcoming experiences, so they may be fearful when they get to the door, okay? And so they may come across as being adversarial or what have you, and that's not their intent, but they don't know how to do it any differently. And I will say that I learned that as a teacher in a charter school for 2 years in the city of St. Louis. We need to make sure that we're providing opportunities for learning for the parents and the family, as well as wraparound services. Oftentimes the reason that they can't come is because there's something that has to happen for them in order for them to be able to get here. And it's unfair of us as educators and administrators to assume that those parents don't want to be involved, when in actuality we're setting it up in such a way that they can't be involved. Even things like, having your parent-teacher meetings for their specific kid. If they can't get there, can they do it online, do it on a phone? Is it at 7:30 at night, or is it only at 5 o'clock, because that's what's convenient for us? And I think these are some of the things that when you look at the models around us, when you look at the John Burroughs School, you look at the Ladue School, the New City School, even Northside community, which is modeled after New City School, these are the kinds of things that they're doing, and they're getting great success. So it's doable, it requires everybody being on deck, and I think that this is a great building, and it sounds like we've got some great leadership, and I don't see any reason why we can't do it.
Okay, this is great information. I'm excited about this. We're going to keep this up so we can take this and go do some more planning. A lot of the things up there on this board, we actually are already planning for and doing. So I appreciate that last presentation. That was awesome. So we're going to take a tour of the building. So these, let me tell you how we're going to do this. These 3 tables here, Dr. Morrow, can you stand up? She's going to take you guys. So the first 3 tables here, can stand up and follow Dr. Morrow through that door right there. This table here, this table there, and there, you with me, so you can just stay seated. These tables here, we'll go with Dr. Petty. All right? That's Dr. Petty right there. Go out that door right there.
I mean, good to see. I will for sure.
Let's try and be back by 6:25 so that we can grab this forward.
Tony coming in. See you Monday. What they say? I got you. So slide up fader to number 9. Oh,
About food. Okay, you might be right about food.
I told you that on the screen, double click on it. See right above the fader. So, slide the camera over. Double click on it. There you go. Now go up to where it says pre-service. Slide to the one more time. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Okay, so hit the pause button. Down on the pause button. Put the pause button over back. There we go. How you doing? Now let's see what those lights look like. Should it be a defender you? Be a defender you.
I don't know this was happening.
Okay, so now you want to turn off the worship lights, right? What's up, Michelle?
I cut the ribbon on this school. Yeah! I think, come on, go take a tour. I know there's a hole in this thing.
You should be able to go downstairs. And we should be able to hit those buttons now, because I forget what color they have to be downstairs in order for them to, for you to control. And I could have left them the wrong color. I might have had the sequence.
You ready, baby?
Yeah, I apologize for that. Yeah, I was loading the Pro Presenter, and Casey came.
What looks like you like it?
Yeah, they was cool. And so they got once he toured, we had everything.
No.
And all I did was slide the fader down, and
They got engaged.
oh, okay. What did that one do? Okay, that's taking us off. So if you got house lights up now, good. Okay.
That's all I said.
Okay. Okay, so with house lights up, you should be able to now go upstairs to number 9 and fade it down. That fader needs to be down. That's all.
So they don't do it though.
Looks like you gained more control. Keep me on though, just to verify.
Don't ask me who.
Washington is my home. So you know who be up there. Oh, Fader 9 is exactly up there. Okay, bro. All right.
It wasn't me.
Touch
Everything that goes wrong, I blame on Mr. Dr. Brooks. That's what's wrong. He is my scapegoat. If it's snowing outside, guess what? It's Dr. Brooks' fault. So, I'll let you know, you guys know, one of my pet peeves, one of the most important things, one of the most important wastes is time. That's one thing you can't get back. So I stress to staff about the importance of time. I want you to get this subliminal message about time. I said we should be back at 6:25. What time is it? 6:21. Somebody's clock stopped. But I want to respect everyone's time, so to that end, I want to appreciate all of you for coming here tonight, taking time out to spend with us at this very important forum. I also want you to pass the word. We don't have enough parents in the audience. Amen. Pass the word. I'll be meeting with our Director of Communications to make sure we're hitting, I'm not really big on social media, make sure he's hitting where social media's avenues we need to hit. If I need to put on some tap dance shoes and get out there on Lucas Cross, right in front of Lucas Cross and stop the cars, whatever that looks like, we need to get parents in the mix because their decisions, their buy-in, their weigh-in matters. So to that end, I want Ms. Serena to take us home.
Thank you, Dr. Triplett. On behalf of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, I want to thank you all and congratulate you for really great participation with the idea of helping Normandy Schools Collaborative continue forward momentum and progress on its way toward full accreditation. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.